Hello there, and welcome. Well, the draw's been done. It's the FA Cup third round draw. Went on there a little bit late. Had a few issues trying to log on, but yeah, so it just had to let the draw run through as it did, and there has been some interesting ties we could probably discuss if we look into that, see what each of the teams' thoughts. Draw's literally just been done, and we have been, well, for me, it's actually quite the perfect team. Spurs have been drawn to take on Portsmouth. Um, it's special in so many different ways, really. So many different ways. The last time we won the FA Cup, we actually played Portsmouth, didn't we? And I think it was a late Gaza goal which won it for us. Special for me is I live now in the environs of Portsmouth, so this is not, well, it's not only going to be like a home game for me. It's I'll start to go home to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium to watch us play. So yeah, Spurs versus Portsmouth. That is the team that we have been drawn, and it should be. And as you can see, yeah, I'm guessing that yeah, there's going to be a lot of fans that will be enjoying that one, I think. And well, maybe not enjoying it because, as you can see, my colleague is now joining us. Is Shubes? How are you doing? You right? I'm guessing it's gone off again. Had a few issues there. But no, he says he can't hear anything at the moment. So yeah, there is probably having a few technical difficulties. We'll try to work on that and then bring him back on as soon as we can. Um, let's see if that's work now. Can we hear you now? Still can't hear. Everyone can hear me at the moment, right?
I hear a single thing. Can't hear myself.
Oh, there you go. I can hear you now. You can't hear yourself. Okay, that's yeah, no worries. We'll come back in a bit. But yes, as I was saying before, when we last won the FA Cup, which is a long time ago now, ugh, blooming heck. When the final comes, will be 32 years since we last won the FA Cup. And yeah, we beat Portsmouth on the way there, from what I recall, and then it was Blackpool, and then there was I can't remember another team that we played, and then we got all the way to the semi-final where we played Arsenal, and then we played my father's favourite side, Nottingham Forest, in the final, which is one I remember dearly, and that was the last time we got as far as we did. We've got to a few semi-finals in the recent past. Actually, a couple of years after winning the cup, '93, we got to another semi-final where we again played Arsenal, and weren't so lucky then. We were quite unfortunate. We went out there. A few other semi-finals since then. We played Chelsea. We even played Portsmouth as well in a semi-final, which was absolutely. Uh, the less said about that, the better. We lost 2-0, and we were just absolutely awful. But let's try it again. And then you can hear me now.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear
You hear
me?
you now. Yep, perfect. Welcome, Shubes. It's good to see you on there. And yeah, what do you think about this? I mean, we've just the draw's just been done. Tottenham Hotspur versus Portsmouth.
Well, kind of at that. Basically, they wanted Dane Scarlett not to be able to play in that. So,
There is, yeah.
that is that there is that.
Mm,
I think now that's going to be even more of a pressing issue now.
mm.
Um, Obviously for you, is it Fratton Park? Is that what they call it? I can't remember. Is it
Is
called
that
Fratton
yeah?
Park?
No, is that the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium?
Okay, so that which is actually will be a shitload of money for Portsmouth then, because obviously when we obviously played them, was it back way back when they were
Mm,
under that financial embargo and they were going, all the things were going wrong for them at the time.
yeah.
So I think they obviously that will be a huge financial injection boost for them.
Mm,
Um, like I said, I think it's a good thing. I mean, I don't. I'm not going to pop out the champagne because we struggled to beat Morecambe last year.
Yeah.
well, this year. So I'm not going to exactly pop out the champagne, but no, I think
Mm.
it's a good tie. The FA Cup is always. I mean, I remember for some reason because my memory, because the thing is, so I've only been to two FA Cup games that I can really, well, three actually, I think. I remember, and one of them I remember because my glasses got broken because I was celebrating, so my glasses fell off and then they broke. Someone stepped on them.
Mm.
But it was Wickham, and I think they had that Akin Fenwa, that huge like power, like the most powerful, the most strongest guy in football manager history or something.
Adebayo Akinfenwa. Yep.
Yeah, and so no, because I remember because the year before I actually had been to because basically they called the reason Wickham Wanderers are called the Chair Boys is that basically chairs like industrial chairs or all like office chairs are made in a factory,
Mm.
quite a few factories in High Wycombe, hence why they were
Yeah.
called what they're called. But so and I happened to be I think I'd happened to be working there that year and I actually had been to the factory for some odd reason. So
Okay.
no, yeah, it was just a really weird reason. We were basically just anyway, but that's here nor there. We're not here to give Verco, who I actually have a chair from, bloody comfortable chair, by the way, a plug. Um,
Nice little
no,
plug.
no, like I say, it's a good tie. I mean, it's weird because obviously with the FA Cup, you talk about Portsmouth, and yes, we did lose, but then that within about a week or so, we beat Arsenal for the first time in God knows how many years. We beat
Mm-hmm.
Chelsea for not the first time. We actually beat them quite a few times at home anyway. But
Mm-hmm.
and then we qualified for the Champions League. And if you ask most Spurs fans what would they preferred to have won the FA Cup or to have qualified for the Champions League, I think I know what I would have chosen.
Back then, I
Uh,
guess probably then, yes.
yeah, and I still think oh, how did you miss that? Oh, sorry, I'm watching
Yeah, we also the World Cup's also on for many people. Obviously,
and
Ro-
Rodgers
no?
missed an absolute gilt-edged chance. He literally did all the hard
Mm-hmm.
work, and all he
Yeah.
had to do was just finish it. And I think he lost. The thing is, he's not. At the end of the day, Rodgers is not a striker, even though he scored a bunch of goals for us. Oh,
Mm.
it's actually sort of really sublime bit of skill there. He
Mm.
just loses his composure just the last minute. And credit to the goalkeeper. Oh, he took one right in the nuts as well. The goalkeeper does a really good job actually. The
Yeah,
goalkeeper
he
does a
got
really
it
good
right
job.
on his head. Yeah.
Oh, do you know what? He just doesn't get his foot around it. He just
Mm.
and to be fair, that's a difficult chance for a striker anyway. But for a
Yeah.
non-striker who's what 6'2", hasn't really
Mm-hmm.
got that low centre of gravity, it's going to be. But but anyway, but like I said, interesting because I'll be interested to see who plays in that Portsmouth game because is it the February? Is it January 5th? Right, that Portsmouth game.
It's the weekend, January the 6th. So yeah, 6th, 7th, 8th, or 9th. So
Yeah,
that should be an
and I'm
interesting one. I
guessing.
don't know if we picked up the TV or not, but
Well, I'm hoping. I mean, obviously, it doesn't really bother me because obviously I live here, I live around the corner from the stadium. But I'd be interested to see because I know when I went to the States a few years ago, a lot of the FA Cup games weren't being shown on
mm,
um, on the networks, and which pissed off a lot of the American fans because I know that a lot of American fans aren't really into the. They are in the last stages, but the third round tie, they don't have the same romantic appeal that we have.
mm,
I like it. I mean, like, yeah, and hopefully no one at Portsmouth does a Ronnie Radford against us. But there is something magical about the FA. There is something magical about the FA Cup. I mean,
yeah,
I think obviously it's the third round. It's not the opening round. There's
mm.
obviously two rounds
It
this
is
time
for
round.
us, isn't it? Yeah.
It's the opening round for us, but for everyone else, there's had to go through so many qualifying stages to get there. But
Mm,
it is magical. I mean, I mean, I think was it Marine back in 2020, and obviously they weren't able to have any fans because obviously it was COVID. But there's something
Marine,
quite
yeah.
magical. But there's something quite magical, and I think a lot of. I mean, I know Paul Kramer, who some Spurs fans may know, lovely guy. I've had a few drinks with him at the Antwerp, um, and I've been to quite a few Spurs show lives and that kind of stuff, and that kind of
Mm,
stuff with. He actually went and he said, look, I'll pick your name out if you can, and so I think there is something very special about for especially for the smaller clubs, and Yeah, I mean, I think what is it's that whole let it be king or beggar, you know, especially a lot at the bottom of the football pyramid.
Mm.
For one day, they're at the same level, and I know. 'Cause I'm guessing there'll be quite a few mates of mine that'll be thinking, "Oh, can you go down? Can you get me up a half and half scarf or something?" And by the way, those half and half scarves aren't exactly cheap. By the way, they actually are getting more expensive, which I
They
don't get.
are.
Why people?
You
I
just have
don't.
to wait to the end of the game because then they suddenly just halve in price for some reason,
Oh,
and
well,
then if you,
whenever I've gone out before, like after the game, there's like no one around. I don't know where the hell to look. So I'm like, I want to get them, but then like they're nowhere around. No, I mean, by the way, I'm not actually opening or offering to get any half and half shirt scarves or anything. I
too
am
late,
not.
man. You've already put it out
No,
there
no, no.
now.
I haven't agreed. I haven't agreed. I'm saying people ask me. I haven't actually agreed. Nor, and yes, I have. Yes, I do know how to get them pre-game, but I'm not gonna get them, and I haven't agreed to it or anything like
Uh,
that. But yeah,
no, I wouldn't
no, but
get a pre-game anyway. Who's spending 20 quid on the scarf? No, it's not. It's,
well, no, I'm sure.
wait till
Like,
full
if I,
time.
like I said, I'm sure if people actually want me to get them, I will actually will get some for friends if they want them. But I mean, to be totally
Mm.
fair, I mean, I think it's nice. I mean, hopefully, obviously for you, you might be able to get a lift from some Pompey fans. You might be on the coach with some Pompey fans on the way up there.
Yeah, true. Very true. That is going to be fun.
But having said that, would you? I mean, for the Pompey fans, would they prefer it to be a Fratton Park, or because obviously, Portsmouth were a Premier League club for about 15 years recently.
Wasn't that was it that long? Or those yeah,
Well, I'm
oh, we
sure
mean
because 2006 was it? They came up with was it Harry Redknapp? Is it he came up? He brought him up, and then he got him. Then he ended up leaving, went to Southampton, got them relegated,
mhm.
rejoined Portsmouth. So I would say that he was definitely so for 2000. I'll say what 2003. Oh, I suppose 2003, 2004. They were definitely up there.
Mm.
So I
Yeah.
think so definitely. And I think if you they were there for at least 10 years at least. So at least a good 10 years. I'm thinking at least, and
Yeah, it
I'm
feels like
hoping
that.
that.
I guess it must have been, yeah. But I suppose, I mean, a few of us were actually talking about it at work because I work with a staunch Pompey fan, obviously, and we were talking about if we did draw each other, and he said he would prefer to because he's never been to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, he would prefer to have an away tie. Um,
Yes, I think that's the thing because I
so
think
he's kind of got his
obviously
wish, really.
they obviously came a few times to the old White Hart Lane, obviously. So
Mm.
that's so I suppose for for fans.
Never
Oh,
won
how
though,
is that
though.
not? How is that? Oh, as I say, how's that not a booking? And that actually was a booking.
It was a bookie, yeah.
Yeah.
Crucially, they never actually won at the old White Hart Lane. So I want to keep that kind of run going, especially
So
as they're in League One so
you've
far.
jinxed it now. So there's been a huge giant killing. They never won at the old White Hart Lane. Then their first visit to the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, they win.
Well, if
Um,
Morecambe could almost do it, then who knows? You know, that was scary last time
well,
out.
yeah, but they were all they had all that brown shrimp before the game, so that's the reason why. Do you know what I mean? No, no,
It's what the Pompey fans have then.
yeah, and I just realised a whole bunch of people are watching this internationally. And I'm not have a clue what Morecambe based shrimp even are. So like, by the way, it's delicious. By the
It
way, and
was
you know what?
internationally
It is.
renowned, isn't it? Mm.
It's international. It should be. It's actually. You know what? It's really weird. 'Cause apparently a lot of them are dying out. But Morecambe based shrimp. Oh god, honestly, and a bit of butter, bit of, bit of warm bread. Oh god, that's fucking magical. Honestly, do you know what? If they serve it to you on like a steak, like the steak comes out, and they put like
Mm.
the hot Morecambe based shrimp
Surf and turf.
on the steak, it's a surf and turf. I mean, you can't really. So there's not gonna be a lot of shrimp, but literally that, because especially when you have fillet steak, and which to be fair has zero flavour in it, there's no fat in it. But when you put the butter on it, which is shrimp flavoured
Mm.
buttered. Anyway, enough of culinary insights.
I gotta say that's for the after school channel there. That's the cooking channel there. But
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 no,
yeah, it's
no. So I'm
gonna be
happy with it. I mean,
interesting.
I think Man City play Chelsea, don't they? Man City play Chelsea. Is that
They
right?
do actually look at the other games that were drawn, and there are some big ties there. Yeah, Manchester City and Chelsea drew each other, which was and actually played each other a couple of days beforehand as well, before that FA Cup tie. So it is going to be like a dress
It will be.
rehearsal almost.
So basically, it will be basically two battles of the bastards done twice over, really. And actually, funnily enough, we're interesting because it'll be interesting who they put out like for their FA Cup side, because obviously, given that this is a world, because obviously I think Man City play like 2 days, play Liverpool 2 days before the FA Cup, before the World Cup final or something, some stupid League Cup thing or something. Is that right?
Uh, possibly. I mean, we're after the League Cup, so I haven't really kept any kind of tabs on it whatsoever. I just left it. So yeah, I have no idea, but yeah, it looks like yeah, that is probably one of the biggest games there have been drawn out. Actually, I'll just run through the draw now for those who haven't seen it. So obviously the games will be played on the weekend of 6th of January. The first team drawn out, Preston North End against Huddersfield. I actually wanted to do Preston because I haven't been to Deepdale before, and obviously it's a stadium full of history. It's where the first no, it's Royal Engine. Who actually won the first ever league title, Football League
I
league
think that I
title?
think that I think that I think that was Sheffield Wednesday won the first ever Football League title.
Sheffield Wednesday. Oh, okay.
But
Well,
we actually nicked Preston's colours. Preston are
yeah,
the first team to Preston are the
that's why we're
first
playing the
team to
colours
have
we
done
do.
the double, and then they're in white and blue, and then we ended up nicking their colours because
Mm.
basically it was the Northern powerhouses. It was like Blackburn
Mm.
Rovers, Sheffield Wednesday. They were the
Yep.
original like big sides, and
Mm.
like
If you know your history,
and in the finest Tottenham tradition, we like something, we steal it.
yep. That's why we're playing Real Madrid colours in Europe, because it just looked good, and
Well,
because it apparently gives us luck.
well, yeah, it's a bit of a weird thing, but the funny thing is, I don't know, because I actually do the same thing. If I end up picking up phrases and whatever or mannerisms, and I end up copying them or imitating them, so the
Mm.
hence why on Instagram I'm called Chafola because it means tea leaf, steal, So yeah, so it's just something that so no, I don't know whether I'm just being a Tottenham person by actually stealing stuff. But by stealing stuff, I mean actual,
Hey,
ideas and
can't take the
mannerisms.
boy out of Tottenham, can you? So yeah.
Well, no, literally, you can't actually because you. Having said that, do you know what? I don't know if you've ever seen. There's a really thing is about this at the Rock or something. He used to steal like chocolate bars because he couldn't afford them, and he went into a
Mm.
shop to buy a whole lot of chocolate bars. I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, you were a wrestler for absolutely fucking years. Do you know what I mean? So when you're making money as a wrestler, you could have actually gone and done that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
But
Very
clearly there
true.
was, and you could have done this years before. Yeah, and you were, like 20, 20 odd years ago. So it's not as if you were making money then, but clearly you're like the biggest box
Just
office
had
star
to
in the
do it,
world.
didn't
So now so I don't know. But anyway, but
he? Mm.
yeah,
Anyway,
it's
the rest of the draw there. Yeah, the rest of the draws there. Probably the longest journey between the two teams there. Middlesbrough versus Brighton. So that'll be an interesting one there. Uh,
oh, that is going to be. I mean, do you know what? Obviously, what they're going to do is they're going to make it. They'll probably do it on a Sunday, where there's going to be either
yeah.
no train, there'll be
Like
no
rats.
trains or a train strike that
Mm.
day.
That would be funny. Yeah, well, it won't be funny for the Brighton fans involved if that happens, but yeah, it'll be, wouldn't surprise you, would it? The next game there, Chesterfield versus West Brom. That should be interesting. No, Chesterfield are non-league now, aren't they? So yeah, that should be
Oh, it's just,
that
but
could be a
obviously, yeah, because I
potential.
think wasn't it? I'm trying to think who was playing for them. Was it that player Bolton, Kevin Davies, or something? That's how
Kevin
he got his
Davis
big
played for
move.
them. Yeah, he was up front for them during that
Yeah,
FA Cup run, wasn't he?
yeah,
Where they got to
that's
the
how he got his big
semi-final.
move.
Yeah, 97.
So
Then you got Manchester City, Chelsea, Charlton or Stockport versus Walsall. I no real thought about that one. But Boreham Wood against Accrington Stanley. Oh, I'd love to have played Accrington Stanley. That was one of the another team that I was
who were they?
looking at. Oh, exactly.
See,
So,
again, unless you were a child in was it the 90s or the late 80s? I can't remember
it was the late
Ian
80s, that
Rush
one.
was it? Because I know Ian Rush was like mentioned in the ad, but I can't remember what.
Mm,
But obviously, you get the thing is, if anyone knows Accrington Stanley, it's because of that milk ad. No one
yeah.
outside of I mean, I don't even know what Accrington even is, let alone. I mean, I don't think most will know where it is anyway. So they know it
It's
from
in
the advert.
I think it's in Cheshire, just Oh,
just
whereabouts? It's
outside.
just yeah, close to Warrington, I think it is.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean the teams are like populated with Scousers, so they kind of there's almost like a second Liverpool almost in Accrington.
yeah.
Um,
So
yeah, and then we were drawn out. Spurs, Portsmouth, of course. Spurs of the Premier League, Portsmouth of League One. So everyone will be looking at that one. Wouldn't surprise me if that was put on TV just because. Then Derby,
well, I'm
Barnsley.
hoping it does. Oh, Barn.
Hmm.
See that actually, it's not a local derby, but Derby and Barnsley aren't exactly a million miles away from each other.
No, just across the Peak District, aren't they? So
Yeah.
yeah, Barnsley in South Yorkshire.
See, I must admit, I always remember because things. Whenever I think of Barnsley, so there's basically I don't know if you remember the Ross Abbott show. Did you ever watch that?
I do remember the Ross Abbott. I am quite old.
And there was a woman, Sherry Houston, and apparently she would get turned on whenever someone said the word Barnsley. And, and Ross Abbott is doing everything he can to basically turn her on or something and saying Barnsley. And in the end, and then he goes, Barnsley, Leeds, Gallagher. And then out like chases like Bella Emberg, who was a slightly larger lady, chasing him around,
Yeah.
and he's running for his life. But I always thought if I ever got to meet Sherry Houston, she's a wonderful. I think she's on Loose Women and she does other crap like that. I've
Mm.
always wanted to say, I was like, can I just say one word to you? Barnsley, just to see get a reaction out of her. Oh yeah,
See if it
but
works
yeah,
for them now.
yeah.
Oh, other games there. Oh, this will be a tasty one as well. Cardiff City versus Leeds. That's yep,
If there are
yep.
two, oh god, talk about the battle of the bastards, but that is gonna
Mm.
be, oh god, oh, see, here's the thing, right? Anyone who knows Leeds United, anyone who knows Leeds, right, knows that
Mm.
Leeds is actually it's actually much more cosmopolitan than it ever used to be,
It's a lovely
right?
city, yeah.
It's a lovely city, full of history, and history going
Mm.
back to the Viking times. That's how, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
you know, so even beyond Viking and real history about it. But
Mm.
let's let's face it, everyone enjoys if a Leeds Leeds fans are probably the nastiest fans. Are
Hmm.
they? They really are. They used to
Yep.
attack, and I've never been up there, but apparently they used to attack like any coach that would go up there.
Mm.
The West Yorkshire police would do absolutely nothing.
Hmm.
They would literally fucking signpost it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
exactly.
literally, if the
Yeah.
Leeds fans weren't attacking each other, they think,
Mm.
well, better they attack other fans from down south who we
Mm.
don't give a shit about or wherever than
Mm.
attacking each other basically. And
Yeah, yeah,
no,
exactly.
Leeds were Leeds and Cardiff. Because I remember Cardiff, they have a bit of a rep, and not as bad as Leeds, but they're not exactly known. I mean, there's obviously because Cardiff in the capital city, all that.
Hmm.
They are gonna. Do you know what I mean? They do like to, and they do like to put
Well,
it. Their fans aren't known for putting it about
the,
as well.
let's say the time we played them in the FA Cup once when they were still at Ninian Park, and I went over there, which was an evening kickoff as well, and around about 15 minutes to go before the full ball time, they then kicked off in the stands. It was just utter carnage, and then the walk back to the station, we were given the police escort, but we were then just rained on with bricks and glass and all kinds. It was a nasty welcome. Uh,
I'm not even bad. If there, I
mm,
mean, honestly, do you know what I think? I'm trying to think who are the worst fans we can think of. Is Cardiff, Leeds, Millwall.
hmm Yeah, Millwall was interesting when we played them in the FA Cup. Was it?
Oh,
A few,
but you know the funny thing was that I remember because they came down. And the funny thing was, um, there was obviously people worried about them kicking off and doing stuff, but
mm,
it was like thing is though I think first of all they knew if they came up they'd be outnumbered like 20-1. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
yeah.
Say what you want about the Mill fans. They prefer as much as they like fighting other fans.
Mm,
They prefer fighting West Ham, and any chance they get to fight West Ham, they will do. And
mm,
obviously Crystal Palace and Charlton. But
yeah.
but Millwall basically they don't really in terms of like taking their thing on the road. They don't do that anymore. Not anymore. Well, not in
No,
the FA Cup anyway.
yeah, most clubs don't tend to these days. It's all kind of yeah, it's all. You just got to find
No,
out about
I'm
it.
sure Leeds and Cardiff will find a way to.
Reignite all the acquaintances. And then
Yeah.
talking about London a moment ago, there Brentford against West Ham was also drawn out. Um, yeah, much you can say about that one. It might even be a Brentford win. I'm expecting a Brentford win for that one. Bournemouth, Burnley. That's another long distance one, but
Oh, that's a bit of that is a bit of a trick actually. I must admit. Actually, I was trying to
hmm,
think. Bournemouth and Burnley. I suppose the only thing that connects them not anymore is Eddie Howe, because obviously Eddie Howe was at Bournemouth and at Burnley. So
he was, yeah, very true. The Eddie Howe derby. Coventry West
yeah.
Wrexham, which is much of a muchness.
Oh,
Norwich,
by the way,
Blackburn.
Coventry. Do you know what those fans have been through? Oh my God,
Yeah,
their
yeah, it's
stadium and
true.
everything else. Oh God,
Yeah,
honestly,
that's the thing. I didn't actually know too much about. Oh, what happened to their ground?
I think
Is it,
there's still.
oh,
I think that's still going on. I think that is still.
hmm,
There's still some crap going on. It's because obviously because I remember some Coventry fans came down. Obviously, they famously beat us in the FA Cup final and all that. And then
87.
they
Yeah,
came down and I think because they're in the is it the East Midlands or the West Midlands? I can't remember which part of the Midlands they're in.
they're West Midlands.
West Midlands, because I was actually asking about
Hmm.
them. They said like they still had their rivalries because obviously for the reason I remember Coventry for anything, the main reason I remember Coventry is because I think Cyril Regis played. It was really weird. He played for Coventry. He played for West Brom in the late '70s,
Hmm.
Coventry in the '80s, and for about a year or so for Aston Villa in the '90s. I'm
Yeah,
thinking
spread it about a bit.
that would, and I'm not in bad, but I'm saying those three clubs absolutely despise each other. But when I think when Cyril
Yeah.
Regis died, they all came
Hmm.
together. Because they all came together literally to honour him, and it was so beautiful because they
Hmm.
literally they despise each other, obviously, but
Yeah.
they, do you know what I mean? They obviously adored Cyril. Do you know what I mean? So
Hmm. Very true. Very true. Yeah. Rest in peace, man. And there's the all championship tie between Norwich and Blackburn, which yeah, is what
it'll
it
be
is.
interesting actually because obviously they've got like I mean Norwich. I don't even know where they're because it's so weird because obviously Norwich they've yo-yoed and who knows? I think did they fire Dean Smith? I can't remember.
Dean Smith. No, I don't remember hearing about it.
No, so it was Middlesbrough that fired Chris something, Chris whatever his
Oh,
name is.
Chris. Yeah, Sheffield United manager for me.
Yeah,
Chris. Yeah, I know the one you mean. Yeah.
no, because I think because obviously you got Blackburn because the reason that is obviously I suppose we had interest in that because Dillian Mackendey went to Blackburn Rovers, but he's not even playing for them either. Actually, is he? He's not even playing
No,
for
it's
them.
a shame, really.
Well, I
Shame,
think
really.
I
I
mean,
mean,
like,
lots of
to be
skills
totally
to him,
fair, I
but
mean, to be totally fair, the lad has skills, but I'm not gonna be bad at 5'6" something. He's not the biggest. He's always gonna
oh, neither
struggle.
is Messi, neither is
Yes, but
Maradona back in the day.
I think there's kind of I want to say a tiny bit of difference. I think there's a fucking world of difference between
Hmm.
Dillian and Messi and Maradona. Do you know what I
Oh, I
mean?
even had the chart worked out for him as well if he ever made it to the first team. Dylan McClande. Obviously, wasn't too much of an too much of a chart, but it would have made me feel good.
It was. There's not a lot of imagination going into that child now, is there?
Oh, who needs imagination? This is football we're talking about. Okay, Aston Villa Stevenage, which is well,
Oh,
obviously,
Stevenage. Actually, it's not a million miles because obviously because funny enough, that's why I saw Dylan McCann play actually because obviously we play our youth team games at Stevenage at the Lamex. Is
yeah,
it Lamex?
the
Yeah.
Lamex Arena, and yeah, that's where I saw him play as well. I mean, we played Manchester United, I think it was, in a match.
It's a decent arena actually because I went down there because it was
Yeah.
funny because I went down there because this was like during COVID and we couldn't go anywhere
Mm,
anywhere. So I thought, well, shit,
mhm.
I've got the time, so I might as well just go down there, parked
Yeah.
up. They do nice burgers actually.
Mm.
Not that's a reason to go down to Stevenage. I mean, there's very few reasons to go to Stevenage, in all fairness. But you know, and do you know what? I say that I live. Well, technically, I don't live on the border because Stevenage is fucking trek as well. It's a fair old mission from where I am, and I'm in London, so you know what I mean. I'm
Mm.
in North London, so yeah, so fair dues to any Villa fans that go down to because it's actually on the border between Hertfordshire and Bedfordshire, so fair
Yeah.
old trek. But yeah, that's a good type of Aston Villa actually.
Yeah, that should be an interesting one, but I don't think it's going to be as cut and dried as it should be. The way that both sides are playing. In all championship ties between Luton and Wigan. I might keep our one of our admins quite happy. He's I think it's based around Luton area. Oxford United against Arsenal. So that's going to be at the Kassam. So that should be an interesting tie, that one.
I'm trying to think because for some reason, is it Joey Beauchamp that played for Oxford? I think the one that passed
Joey
away.
Beecham, yeah.
He
He
passed
passed.
away. Did he
Oh, he
pass
did,
away?
didn't he? Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
I
did
can
play
remember.
for. Yeah, he played for Oxford, and then he signed for West Ham, didn't he? Must be
And
like
then it was,
20 odd years ago, and then
and then
he
then
came.
he got really homesick, and then decided,
Yeah,
yeah, he didn't want to be at
and
West Ham. Which, let's face it, it was a bit of a shithole anyway. So
exactly that's what happens when you sign for West Ham. You suddenly become homesick. Just remember what you just left behind. So yeah, not surprised by that. Yeah. So literally that
but yeah,
summer he
he died.
left between the
Yeah, the
clubs.
thing is, Joey Beauchamp wasn't exactly an old guy actually, because he was like was mid
No.
20s, so he's only about 10 years older than I am. So it's not exactly
Yeah.
wasn't exactly well, not old, but definitely not young either.
No.
And
No. Exactly.
speaking of death, so Maurice Norman, how sad was that to hear that news? That was very
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I just heard it this morning actually. My phone buzzed and said Spurs would like to, and I thought, what? Okay, read it and it was like, oh, blimey. Rest in peace, Maurice, man.
Well, it was weird because he was like because someone told me that because he broke his leg for it playing for England and then he never recovered his career and I think he was able to rebuild
Mm,
his life. But
mm,
no, he was just apparently he was like a real gentle giant. I mean, if you look at him, I've got like 'cause I have a picture of the double winning side
mm.
and he's in there. And he's a huge guy and he looks like oh my god, he's gonna I mean really screw you over. But
True. True stuff.
apparently he was a real gentle giant. So
Mm. Yeah, thoughts with him and with all the family and friends at this time. And
yeah.
okay, to continue with the draw there, Fleetwood Town against QPR. I haven't heard too much about QPR this last few years. I mean, there used to be like a circus following them a lot, didn't there? Especially when they were
Well, what
taking
wasn't well, the
over.
thing is, it was the guy because at first it was a consortium because it has that Flavio, whatever his name was, and then there
Mm,
was Tony Fernandez who owned AirAsia, and I think he had his
yeah.
issues with AirAsia. I think he was on. Was it that was the whole? Was it the plane something like this? Whatever.
Mm,
And I don't know because obviously I think is it no who was it? Chris Ramsey. He went there and he came back. I can't remember. I
mm,
think he's managing it. I can't. It's interesting. I think what's his name? Ferdinand he's director of football. Or he was director of football or something like that. Les
mm.
Ferdinand, who did not destroy the the BP, the Blue Peter Garden. It wasn't Les Ferdinand at all.
I think he
Oh,
admitted it, didn't he?
well, apparently, well, he said he joked about it, but the best bit was though. I think have you ever seen was it Life from was it no Ashes to Ashes?
No, I haven't. No, no.
Well, so basically, they're doing this chase, and there's an absolute chase, and this guy literally, and then this guy finds something, and he throws it, and it hits somebody, and then
Mm,
someone goes, "Is there a garden in there?" And then he goes, "Yes. Why?" And because you see, I forgot his name, Gene Hunt, and his next is the Blue Peter symbol.
mm.
It's Mandal's destroyed. it's just, and it's just, I don't know. And then but I don't know. But yeah, obviously, obviously, I don't remember that because obviously I'm a bit too wee to remember that. But it was just
Mm.
no, it was just the idea because because not clear it's not because I fancy the shit out of Keeley Hawes, you know what I mean?
Of
But
course not. No, of course. Yeah. And none
but
of us did as well, obviously.
none of us did, yeah. Or Janet Ellis. Oh, to be fair, Janet Ellis actually. Do you know what I mean? None of us,
Yeah, we,
that,
we, we we all just watched it for the storyline. Yes, that's what happened.
that was why we were watching. No, actually, no. To be
Hmm.
fair, Ashes. By the way, if you haven't seen Ashes to Ashes, by the way, watch it. It is one of the best shows ever made, and it's unlike American shows. Ashes knew when to end. Yeah, perfect ending. Yeah, let's go down
That's
the
all
pub.
dig at The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead, is it? That's
Let,
just
let,
ended now.
let's go down. Do
Yes.
you know what? Let's go down the pub. That is, you know what? As the funny thing is, obviously, first year I was abroad, and there's
Mm,
nothing more English than, do you know what? Oh, let's oh, you fancy a drink? Yeah, pub. Yep. Or if you're abroad, fancy a pint? Yeah, where? Let's find a pub somewhere. And
hmm
me and my friend Graham, literally, my Graham, I didn't have a Spurs flag. He actually brought a Spurs flag with him. Okay, and we did literally just hang it up and said, yeah, we're taking over this part of the bar. This is now Tottenham.
Love it.
And apparently that might have pissed off the people there, but they didn't say a word. So,
Yeah, exactly. That's tacit agreement as far as I'm concerned.
yeah. So
Hey,
yeah. And the rest of the
mm,
draw.
rest of the draw. Liverpool versus Wolves was drawn out. I actually looked at the league table. I was surprised to see Wolves propping everything up. I thought, well, they didn't have that issue every season
Well, the
trying to
thing is, it
convert
was Leicester City.
chances
The
to
thing is, it was
goals.
Leicester City at the start of the season, and then
Mm,
it's gonna be interesting to see because obviously you've got because I don't know. We're going to talk about the World Cup, but I think the reason you're having all these shots in the World Cup is that you've got a lot of teams whose first team players aren't playing as much, so they're a bit more
mm,
rested. So that whereas like Argentina, all these teams, they're just a lot more lethargic. And I think there are some teams who basically will be lethargic in say game two, like England were. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
And then come game three, that will be like I think in the knockout phase is when you'll start to see the real football start, kind of thing.
Mm, well,
But
I we shall only can only hope, really.
well, actually, the
Hey,
funny thing is,
rest.
I actually missed most because I had the COVID jab on Thursday and I was fucking out like a light.
Mm,
I literally like lights out sparkers for the next 2 3 days. So I didn't actually start watching anything. Like people talked about the Brazil game. I was like, I was asleep. Brazil, most of these things, I was like, lights out. So
mm,
so no, it'll be interesting to see what happens next with the whole World Cup. But yeah, but anyway, continue on with your FA Cup
mm.
draw.
Yep. This one is not one of notes. Grimsby, Burton Albion, which is what it is. Blackburn versus Nottingham Forest. Oh, not Blackburn, Blackpool. Sorry, Blackpool versus Nottingham Forest. That's
Okay.
was a good weekend away, isn't it? In Blackpool, especially in the summer. Dagenham and
Yeah,
Redbridge
brilliant.
or Gillingham versus Leicester City.
Do you know what?
That could be. This is tricky as they come.
That could be
But it
actually, yeah.
doesn't matter who Leicester will face there. I mean,
Well, I think
either one of those sides there.
Leicester. Well, the thing is, Leicester have already won the FA Cup, and I think I
Mm,
personally wouldn't blame them because obviously they could have fired Brendan. They chose not to, and it kind of worked out well
mm.
for them because now they're, like I said, they're back up now. So
Yeah,
where they
climbing
need to
away.
be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I mean, Forest Green Rovers versus Birmingham City. That would probably be a nice little away trip, wouldn't it? Forest Green Rovers, the only vegan club in the country.
Oh, the
So,
Zulus. Oh my God. We're talking about
and the Zulus,
Nazi
Birmingham
fans.
City. Yep.
Those. Oh God. Oh God. Those guys. They were. Actually, I said that. I'm actually messing with Birmingham City fans actually when they came down actually, and they were quite nice
Mm.
actually. They were really nice actually. To be so, in
Yeah,
all
yeah, they seem all
fairness.
right. Yeah, yeah,
So, but
yeah.
like I said, I mean, because their rivalry is really with Villa really, and because I actually asked a mate of mine who's a Villa fan, I said to him, like, can you like Jude Bellingham now because he's no longer thing is no once a fucking blue, fuck him. Once a blue, always a cunt. His words.
So I suppose that is quite true. The rest of the draw there, all championship tie there between Bristol City and Swan. That's a derby, isn't it? Bristol City versus Swansea City.
Well, it's not really well. It's definitely it is a west. It is like west, west, the southwest from Wales, and obviously you have to cross the
Mm.
Severn Bridge to go to Swansea. But it's not.
Oh, it's
It's
actually
about
Cardiff
an
that they
hour and a
hate,
half.
isn't it? Bristol, isn't it? Yeah,
Well,
yeah. I don't
Swansea.
think
It's
it's
really
a
weird though.
derby.
Funny, apparently, I was watching this thing because it's Swansea and Cardiff. They were both obviously in the Premier League for like 1 year or something together or something.
Yeah,
And like
yeah.
apparently, Gabby was it Gary Eurostad was told to fuck off back to either Swansea or Cardiff, and he's actually from Swansea or Cardiff, or his fans having a go at him, something like that. Yeah.
Love when that happens. Hartlepool against Stoke, which is another much for muchness game, really.
Yeah.
Then let's see, Hull City against Fulham. I'm not quite sure how well Hull are doing, but they always just like put up a fight, especially when they were in the Premier League. But that was years back now. They've been down in the Championship for a while now. Crystal Palace against Southampton, all Premiership tie.
Yeah. Again, Southampton, obviously they've got. Have they signed a new manager yet? Have they got a new manager yet?
I want to say yes, they have, because something tells me that they had somebody watching one of their recent games. That was before, obviously before the World Cup. So
Because they played Liverpool, I think, didn't they? Before, because Ralph Hasenhuttl got fired, and to be totally fair, how that guy has lasted as long as he did, the amount of like hastings his teams got given. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, exactly. There is such a thing as putting faith into somebody and hoping they'll come good.
Well,
But
to be fair, they fired Hughes to bring in Hasenhuttl. He kept them up,
yeah,
and Southampton aren't exactly a team with a shitload of money. I mean, Southampton are basically a team that basically have to develop players in their academy and hopefully sell them on because they're not unless they get like a really big investor. I mean, if Liverpool feel they can't compete because they're trying to bring in FSG, then I think that says it all, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, true. So Southampton's manager is a guy called Nathan Jones, former no, not Welsh international, but Welsh former player. Spent most of his time in the lower leagues actually, and then also in Spain, which is strange enough to say, but the lower leagues in
Oh
Spain
yes,
too.
actually, yeah, because he was managing somewhere, and there's someone actually brought him in. He was managing somewhere
Luton.
else. That was it.
Manager at
Yeah.
Luton.
Oh yeah, because Luton almost got promoted. Luton with zero budget almost got promoted, which is Luton. Let's face it, they I don't know, 'cause for years actually they were in the old first division, and then obviously they kept in the Premier League for a number of years actually. In all fairness,
Yeah, exactly.
so
Wouldn't mind
think of
seeing
it,
Luton back. I mean, they're doing quite well in the Championship. So
well, for me, obviously, being based in North London, Bedfordshire is quite easy for me to get to. So, and
yeah,
I have family who I haven't seen for fucking ages, but in
good
Milton
excuse,
Keynes
wouldn't
and in Flitwick. So could definitely have no issue saying, do you know what, like combining the two or something. So hopefully, if Luton Town get through, would love to get an away tie at Luton Town. I've not been to Kenilworth Road.
Well, who's Luton got? I think
Is it still Kenilworth Road?
it's still Kenilworth Road. Yeah. We say that Luton had they had
Although
Wigan
it's a
earlier.
grass
Yeah,
pitch now, it's not a plastic pitch anymore.
now it's not actually turf like it was back in the 80s now.
God.
Well, then we were talking about Millwall earlier. They have Sheffield United, and that's who they're drawn. So hopefully that should pass without any kind of incident whatsoever. Millwall, the Angels that
Yeah,
they are.
I wonder if they live up to the name of the Blades. I don't know.
It's tempting fate now. Shrewsbury Town versus Sunderland, which that could be the chance of the giant killing there. Sunderland flying high in the Championship.
But some Shrewsbury Town. Yeah, but they were in League One for ages, though, weren't they?
They were. Well, yeah, a good few years. Yeah, they're not promoted last season, weren't they?
Yeah, it was Jack Clark or something.
Yeah. Sheffield Wednesday versus Newcastle United. Remember that being a Premier League tie back then?
Yeah, I remember Sheffield Wednesday because obviously, remember back in the day was that because you had Sheffield because they were married by Trevor Francis back in the day, and I think obviously Keegan was managing Newcastle United, so that was interesting. Also, forming
they had a lot of high Premier League finishes back then. I mean, you would never have thought they were ever going to get relegated, but relegated they were.
But I said they. Oh my God! Some guys literally just run onto the pitch with a rainbow flag. Oh God!
Yep. Yeah, that's all. And then they cut the picture on that.
And when ATV cut the picture, and they're trying to. Do you know what? Of all places to do that,
Brave
Qatar
guy.
is not one of them. Very, very brave.
Then back to the draw. Another all Premiership tie. Manchester United versus Everton. That should be an interesting one.
David Moyes derby.
Yeah, maybe Moyes derby there. Reading versus Watford, all
Well, no,
championship tie.
not a million miles away from each other. It's about an hour's
No,
drive.
yeah. And then it was rounded up with Ipswich against Rotherham United.
About
So,
it. Another end to end, really. I mean, that's pretty far.
yeah, exactly. No real direct train service between the two there. So that's the draw there. So, yeah, I mean, the important one there, Spurs versus Portsmouth. Game that I'm actually looking forward to, of course. I'm sure that there'll be a lot of banter in the office where I work. There's mostly all Pompey fans for the most part, so I'm sure they'll be looking forward to it. They won't have the
Obviously, I
Scarlet,
mean,
of
like
course.
Dane Scarlett probably won't be playing either way.
No,
You know,
exactly.
just curious. Who? I mean, obviously Dane Scarlett's the only player that we know from Pompey, kind of thing.
Mm.
Any other Pompey players we should be? I mean, have you seen him play at Pompey? Have you had a
I
chance to
haven't
watch
had
him?
the chance to watch them yet, which is a bit of a shame. But
Yeah, a shocker,
they
really, because considering that there's, you actually, I mean, I'm not, you literally live in the area.
they are pretty much on my doorstep, just a 15-minute walk, really, from where I am. So in theory, I could just go watch a few Pompey games. But
Well,
no, I haven't.
watch him while you can, because they might end up recalling him something. You never know. Well,
Well, that's
he scored quite a few goals, hasn't he? He scored about what 6 goals for him.
who's that? Sorry,
He scored about 6, 7 goals for him, hasn't he?
who? Scarlett. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's but he hasn't scored for in the last few games. From what? Oh, Portugal just scored, and it looks like Ronaldo again, and it looks like he's onside. Yeah, 1-0 Portugal. That's it.
My bloody thing's on a delay because obviously I'm watching it through the app. So thank you for spoiling that
Mm.
for me.
You'll see it. It's not really a goal to write home about. But there are a lot of
Well, by the way,
fans
I've got to say
jumping
one
up for
thing, mate.
joy.
Do you know what? It's incredible. 5 World Cups. That is amazing.
And only 9 goals in those 19 matches.
But I'm saying 5 World Cups. I mean, most players dream about going to the World Cup once,
Yeah.
and then like even scoring at the World Cup. He has not only gone to 5 World Cups, he has scored at 5 World Cups, and
Mm.
that is truly remarkable.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I mean, like Portugal, it'll be interesting now because I think Ghana, because was it Ghana for beating South Korea, so they're on 3 points,
Mm.
and Portugal play South Korea. So if they wanted to, they could, because obviously there's no point. Because obviously there's no because they actually no. Could Ghana, Ghana could no. If Ghana beat Uruguay, then no. If Ghana beat Uruguay, they'd be on 6 points, but then they'd be out on the head-to-head, wouldn't they?
Oh, Ghana.
Yeah, because if Ghana beat Uruguay in the last fixture, they'd still be behind on the because of the head-to-head.
That's what I
So
wanted to do. They
Portugal,
actually do the head-to-head on this thing because
yeah, they do, yeah. So
okay, which
I
gives
think
it
they do.
confidence.
So I think so
Mm.
interesting though. I think they do because I think so. Portugal, so no, Uruguay would have to beat Ghana to stay in,
Mm-hmm.
and they're on 4. And if so, because Portugal, if they wanted to, they could probably put out a completely out B team, not give a shit because obviously they're top of the group. And
Mm.
If South Korea beat them, yeah, that could be interesting because then they're on 4. So that could
Oh,
be
this
a
is going to
way back.
be. Oh, you messed up there. Yeah, that's true. Very true. But yeah, I suppose going back onto the FA Cup. I mean, it should be a. I mean, I know we were kind of talking off camera before about chances of us winning a trophy and stuff like that, and I said this is probably our only realistic opportunity of winning a trophy.
No, you said it's
And
our only chance to win a trophy. You said it's our only chance to win a trophy. I corrected you
yeah,
by
only chance
saying
to win a trophy.
that we're
Yeah, only real chance. I think I said to win a
no,
trophy.
only real chance. And here's the
Yeah,
thing:
exactly.
we're in the
Only
last.
real chance. Exactly.
No, but again, I disagree because we're in the last 16 of the Champions League. We're
And
defeated,
you actually see us
and
winning it.
yeah, and if we, I do, and I really do think that we could possibly beat Milan, or that now be two. Oh, now be oh no, it's almost 2-0. We had a chance there.
No, well, I
Yeah,
can see us beating Milan, but
and then you don't know who you get in the last group. And I said Chelsea. Let's face it, who's bound to Chelsea to win to get through? to the final, let alone win it. So.
Well, I mean, like, as I said, I haven't cancelled my hotel in Istanbul just yet. So I do, I do hold that hope. It's just It's just a very fleeting. I can, based on what we've been doing, and also the Premier League at the moment. I can't see us winning that. We are too far off the pace.
Again, Liverpool 12 points behind City this time last year.
I guess, yeah.
So
Usually, I'm the one who's like the most optimistic in it, whereas everyone else is pessimistic. It's just
basically what it was. I didn't actually want to do this section, and then he was like, nagging to me, "Is there any chance on a trophy?" And I'm like, "Actually, no. We're actually in 2 other trophies." And then so
only real chance of winning a trophy.
Yeah.
But,
I'm gonna shoot off in a so it's dinner time for me, and I'm kind of hungry.
Yeah, that's cool. Neither time to wrap up anyway. But your thoughts on the draw? We will go through. Expect us to go through?
No, if we're to go through against Portsmouth, sorry.
Yes. Expect us to go through against a game.
I think what in theory we should do. It depends because if I'm Conte, I'm looking at all the sides we have to play, and we should have more than enough to beat. I look at our B team, even though we don't have a B team anymore. Okay, let's just say on that basis, and obviously say if any team that could play against Portsmouth, I would probably say Forster in goal, a back 3 of Sanchez. Who else? Longley. Who else would be around? And say Davis.
Tanganga was there as well.
Tanganga. So Sanchez, Tanganga, and Davis. Okay. And then in midfield, you could have Skip and Bissouma. On the wings, you could have Doherty or Sessegnon. Or no, Spence. Or Sessegnon on either flank. Front 3, you could have Richarlison, Brian Hill, and Lucas. Now you're telling me that team couldn't beat Portsmouth?
Yep, exactly that. So it doesn't matter which team we put out; it should be enough. So cool. We shall let's go. So I guess we shall wrap it up there. This was going out live on the Tottenham Supplement group and also the Tottenham Tribe group as well. Hello, everybody there. Hope you enjoyed it, and also on our YouTube channel, the Tottenham Supplement. Sign up and do what all the YouTubers do for the videos. Shubes, nice chatting with you, and we shall do it again sometime. And well, Spurs, Pompey, let's do it. Let's try and get this FA Cup. See you, everybody. Come on, you Spurs. You'll take care.